A blessed afternoon to those who are viewing in. Today, let's look quickly into the reason why the Naira is falling. The fall of the Naira has been on for a long time now, especially since this particular government came into seat. People do not understand why the Naira is falling, and to be very honest, even after I explain with these few points, people will not still understand why it is falling. But for those who will be able to understand, we're going to look into a few reasons why the Naira is falling. You see, for a currency to be falling is not peculiar to any particular currency. There are things you have to put in place to ensure that your currency does not lose its purchasing value. But for one reason or the other, these things have not been looked into, and so the Naira has been on free fall. I think the Naira is about 1,600 now to $1. This is something that at one point it used to be 165, just about 2-3 terms ago. That is, the two previous governments used to be about 165, and people were complaining. Today is at 1,600, and you see. And so we are going to be looking into the reasons why the Naira is falling. Before we go into that, let's look into what is floating down there. The Naira was floated as soon as the current government came on seat. What is floating? Floating is when you allow the market forces to determine what the real value of your currency is. You see? And so when you float your currency, the demand for that currency and the supply of it will affect the value of the currency. Now, just to have a very simple understanding of how the value of currency works, your currency has to be in demand. People have to be looking for your currency for it to be strong. Once people are no longer looking for your currency, the value of your currency goes down. Now, what happened is that in previous governments, the government used to, what they do is that they tell the central government, the central bank, to peg the Naira at a particular value, but it's not always the best. It's better to allow market forces to determine the real value of your currency. And so that's what the current government did. They floated the Naira, allow the market forces to say, this is the exact value of the Naira. And since that floating was done, the Naira has been on free fall. What it means is that for a long time, even before now, the currency has actually lost a lot of value. What it means is that since all those times the CBN used to, benchmark or earmark the currency at one particular value, it had already lost a lot of value. You were just seeing, I don't know how to put it, an illusion. The Naira was just putting up an illusion of having value. It has already lost a lot of value prior to this time, but it only became evident once the floating was done. So what you are seeing today as the Naira being 1,600 to $1 is the real value as of today. By tomorrow, it might be 1,800. It keeps going down because there are a lot of things that are wrong. Now, these are the things we'll be looking into, the reason why the Naira is falling. Now, the first thing, as we spoke about when we were explaining floating, the first thing that has to do with the value of a currency is the demand for that currency. Now, the demand for a currency for investors will only be high when they have confidence in the economy. The demand for the Naira or the value of the Naira will only be high when the investors have confidence in the Nigerian economy. And that confidence is not there. That confidence has not been there since this current government took over seat. In fact, it was not there in the previous government. It's just that the CBN under MFL was just managing the situation. Investors have lost a lot of confidence in Nigeria since the previous tenure took over. That is the man called Buhari. They lost a lot of confidence. And so the CBN was just the one trying to manage the situation. But since this new government came into seat and all that, everything just went kaput. Everything went down the drain. Investor confidence is low in the Nigerian economy, in the Nigerian Naira. And so they are shunning the Naira in the international market, or they are shunning the Naira. The Naira is being run, the Naira is something that a lot of investors are running away from at this time. And therefore, the demand for the Naira in the international market is low. And this is affecting the value of the Naira. It's bringing it down. There's low confidence in the government. There's low confidence in the rule of law in Nigeria. If you follow business discussions, you usually hear that the number one business asset the US has is the rule of law. What that means is that the confidence in the Constitution of the United States gives the dollar a lot of value. Because when the investors come in, they have this confidence that things will be done properly. You see, but the current government, which has this feeling of illegitimacy around it, has killed off the confidence in the Nigerian economy. And so people are running away. And so the Naira, this is part of the reason why the Naira is going down. Now, the second point there is economic uncertainty. Now, when investors want to come in, this point is very important. When investors want to come in, they look at what your economic projection is like. The economic projection right now for Nigeria is very poor. That is to say, things look like it will actually get worse. And so this affects how investors come in. You know, when there's a lot of economic uncertainty, people will not have belief in your currency. This thing happened during what you call the Brexit, when Britain was voting to see if they will leave the European Union or not. Because of that economic uncertainty of Britain, the pound sterling went down. The pound sterling, if you just browse it as in cross-check what I'm telling you, the value of the pound sterling went down during the Brexit period because investors were not sure what was going to be the economic future of Britain. And so that uncertainty connected with Britain at that time brought down the value of the pound sterling. And so that is what Nigeria is also going to right now, because investors don't know where the Nigerian economy is headed to. They don't know what will happen tomorrow. And so they are shunning the economy. That uncertainty is part of the reason why your Naira is going down in the international exchange. It keeps going down because people don't know where the country is headed. People don't know if there's an economic plan on ground. Frankly, at this point in time, it doesn't seem like there's any economic plan from the Nigerian economy as we speak. There's nothing being done, and you know, everything is just going down. So that uncertainty affects the Naira. It keeps bringing it down in the international exchange. It keeps pushing down the value, and that is why the Naira is falling every morning. As we speak, it's falling every morning. By tomorrow, it will have another value, which is very unfortunate. Now, you also have things that affect the value of a currency. You have excess currency in the market. Now, when you have too much Naira in circulation, it brings down the value of the currency. Why? It has to do with what we discussed first at floating, the demand for the Naira. If you have too much Naira notes in circulation, you are bringing down the demand for the Naira because the Naira is surplus. Anything that is surplus, the demand goes down or something. You know, it affects the value of the currency when you have too much currency in circulation. And this is the reason why Emefiele, as an acute economist, what he did, as a very good economist, what he did was that he told Buhari, the Naira is falling. One of the ways we can salvage the Naira is to mop up or suck in the excess Naira in circulation. And that is what brought about the new Naira notes. That is why he brought out the new Naira notes. He used that way to suck in the excess Naira in circulation. And if you watch what was happening to the Naira in that moment, when that excess Naira was sucked in, truly, you know, it put a lot of people in hardship. But when the excess Naira was sucked in, the Naira started to show some signs of appreciation. It went up against the dollar at some point. You know, it was still like falling, rising and falling, but it wasn't on free fall anymore. It stabilized a bit when the excess currency was pulled in. In fact, it appreciated against the dollar as of then, because that Naira, that sucking in Naira, it created an artificial demand for the Naira. I told you that once demand goes up for any currency, the value goes up. Once people are requesting for that currency, the value is going up. So Nigerians requesting for the Naira here and there, where can we get Naira notes? Where can we get Naira notes? It created an artificial demand for the Naira. And also the people trying to come into the country looking for Naira. Where can I get Naira? I want to come into Nigeria. I need Naira. That demand pushed up the value of the Naira as of then. It created hardship, yes. But there was a reason why MFL decided to do it. He didn't do it actually to cause hardship. I'm not speaking for MFL, I'm just talking from an economic view. But people thought, oh, this man is wicked. There was a reason why this was being done. Buhari wanted to make sure that the Naira doesn't crash completely under his own tenure. His mind was that if it should crash, let it crash under the next person who will come. But let it not crash in my own tenure so that this will not be part of my legacy or something. And so he told the MFLA, patch it up. And so they mopped in the excess currency in circulation, and the Naira just stabilized a bit as of then. So now there is too much Naira in circulation. But what is even funny is that as we speak, the current central bank governor is printing more notes. This awareness just came about a few days ago among Nigerians. The central bank, as we speak, we are talking that inflation is high, and the supply of Naira is a bit high in the market. They are printing more. So what you are going to see in the next few days and the next few weeks is that the Naira is going to lose more value. They are printing more notes as we speak. You can cross-check this fact, you see. And so that is why the Naira will continue to go down. It is in excess supply. And when the Naira was sucked in, between around that October 2022 to February 2023, as soon as the new government came in, what did they do? They locked up MFLA. You know, because it is political witch hunting. They were supposed to sit down with him and said, this Naira that you sucked in is probably having a good effect. You know, it's helping to stabilize the Naira. But what can we do to now release more Naira notes without losing the value of the currency? But they didn't do that. They went the route of political witch hunting. They took the man and threw him in prison. He's still in prison now, trying to get his way out. But that excess circulation of Naira notes in the excess circulation of Naira brought down the value of the Naira. And as we speak, the current CBN governor is still printing more and more. That will tell you that whoever is the CBN governor at this time is clueless. He is actually clueless. The government is clueless. The CBN is clueless. And so they are printing more notes. What this means is that in the coming days, in coming weeks, the Naira is going to lose more value. It's actually going to lose more value. Because they are not even trying to stabilize the Naira. They're just ruining everything. You see. And so that goes for excess currency in the market. The last point there we should be looking at is commodity prices. For whatever reason, no government should allow a situation where the prices of commodities are changing every morning. Once you allow that, you have totally destroyed your economy. For whatever reason, a government must never allow commodity prices to be adding as quickly as every morning. It destroys the economy. And I'm going to explain how. When the prices of goods are going up every morning, this is what it does. When people who are supposed to come from outside the country and buy some goods, when they come today, let's say they came to buy cement, for instance, they will come today and the person selling the cement to them will tell them that it is 8,000 Naira per bag. And they will say, okay, we are going back to get money, so we will come back and buy. Now they will go and get the money and then come back. And then the supplier will tell them it's no longer 8,000, it's now 10,000. You have destroyed that business. You have destroyed that transaction. The economy has killed off that transaction because they will not want to buy anymore. They will say, no, you cannot just increase the price like that and say you added 2,000 Naira. And so those people who would have bought those commodities will leave. And this is what is going on. All the neighboring countries, the people from Cotonou, the people from Ghana, Ivory Coast and all that, even Cameroon, even Niger, that used to come in and buy some Nigerian goods and help the economy. They are no longer buying because prices are increasing every morning. Prices are increasing every morning. And so it is scaring off those foreign marketers. Now, when you scare off those foreign marketers, what you are doing is that you are going back to that investor confidence. You are creating low investor confidence. What it means is that you are reducing the demand for the Naira. Anything that will make somebody from, let's say, Ghana to come to Nigeria to buy things, and at the end he doesn't buy, he goes away and says the price, you are changing the price is too much. Once that happens, you have killed an aspect of the economy. You have killed that transaction because the prices are going up too much. People who would have come from outside and demanded your Naira, they are no longer coming. The Ghanaians are no more coming. The Niger people are no more coming. The people from Cameroon are no more coming. The people from Cotonou are no more coming to buy. Which means that your economy is going down. You are driving down the demand for the Naira. Now, how do you ensure that your prices are not unstable? Your prices are not going up every day. This is where you come into, this is where you help the producers, this is where you help the farmers, this is where you help the manufacturers. You can help them with providing electricity. As we speak now, since the current government came in, actually from the closing of last year into this year, the electricity supply became very poor. The electricity supply became very poor. Now, when you have an instance where the electricity supply is very poor and very expensive, even as it is poor, what it means that you are forcing them to go and buy fuel. Now, the fuel also is very expensive. And so when they go and buy that expensive fuel, whatever supposed to be the original price of their product will increase in price. And that is how prices also continue to go up. You have not created electricity for them, stable electricity, and even the fuel that is supposed to be cheap, you have made it costly. Fuel is about 600 and something naira now. In some places, it has crossed 700 naira per liter. And so you've made fuel too expensive. The people who are producing will be producing at an extra cost. Now, even if you don't help them with labor, this electricity falls under labor. Even if you don't help them with electricity, you can help them with capital. You can come and meet business people and say, okay, we know that you are going through some shortages of capital. We know that you are seeking for money to help your business. These people take this money. You give them money and support their business, and you give them at interest free. Don't add interest for them. Because what happens is that when producers are looking for money, they can't get money. They go to meet the banks. The banks will give them a loan, but they have to pay with interest. All that interest, that repayment of interest, that increase in fuel, that lack of electricity is adding to the final prices of goods in the market. Is adding to the final prices of goods in the market. So this is where government needs to be proactive and meet these people and say, okay, don't borrow any more from the bank. Take this money and support your business. And it is interest free. Look at the time it will take you to pay us. Maybe pay up in 12 months. You see, this is how you support businesses to grow, and this is how you maintain prices to make sure prices are not going up too much. So instead of supporting, okay, I was told that a piece of egg now is about 300 naira. Just one egg. One egg is 300 naira. And in the same news, you hear something like a politician stole something like $6 billion. Can you imagine one person stealing $6 billion of the Commonwealth? Now, if you take that $6 billion now and you support the major poultry farmers in the country, the major poultry farmers, you take that $6 billion and support them. I assure you, after giving them capital, after providing fuel for them and all that, electricity, you will crash the price of those eggs. That egg will not be 300 anymore. You can push it down to as low as 50 naira, 70 naira. This is economics. You will push down the price because you have provided that enabling environment. You've given them capital without interest. You've been able to provide electricity for them that is not too expensive. You've been able to provide, even if it's fuel, you've been able to provide fuel that is not too expensive. You will crash down the cost of, getting those eggs. You will crash it down. It can't be 300 anymore. It must go down. You might have eggs now for 70 naira instead of 300 naira. How can you sell one egg 300 naira? Where is the country headed to? 300 naira, just one piece of egg. Then that means things have been spoiled, And so, when you talk about all this, you also talk about the aspect of food. Food prices are also going up. Why are food prices going up? Food prices are going up, number one, because the food is not being produced at the optimum. Now, as I said earlier, if you produce enough things in surplus, the price goes down because it is available everywhere. If food was being produced surplus in Nigeria, the prices of food items will be lower. But the fact that the food being produced is lesser than what we are supposed to have. If Nigeria is supposed to be producing 100 grains at this time, I can assure you that the production has dropped to about 60 grains. Because of all these headers, these Fulani headers attacking people in the farms, not allowing people to farm, kidnapping them and all that, it is affecting the availability of food materials in the market. And so because the food materials are not as available as they are supposed to be, the prices are going up. Now you go to the market, they will tell you there's no yam. You go to the market nowadays, they will tell you, as Igbo marketers, they will tell you okra, there is no okra in the market. Can you imagine just a vegetable, okra? There is no okra in the market. These things means that the amount of food being produced by the Nigerian farmers is not enough. It means they are being attacked. They are being in their farms. It means they are not being supported. The major food farmers in this country now, if you come out and give them loans and say, take this loan to support your business, interest free, it will help them. And most importantly, you create security for them. Stop allowing the Fulani herdsmen to attack them in the farms. Because if they keep attacking these farmers, food prices will be going up. Gari, that's the food for the common man, is getting more expensive. Rice, we don't talk about rice anymore. Rice is now a luxury in Nigeria. We talk about beans. All these things are getting expensive. Even the vegetables are getting expensive because the farmers are being attacked in the farm. Give them an enabling environment, secure them, provide them with the money, and then you will be able to reduce the prices from going up. Because once your prices are going up all the time, you are chasing away potential exporters. You are chasing them away. If you had people who used to send things in Cotonou, for instance, now you used to send 100 pieces of shoes, for instance, to Cotonou, you won't be sending that 100 anymore, because when you tell the person in Cotonou the price, he will say he will not buy, that is too expensive. He will not agree to buy it. And so the demand for your goods are going down. When demand for your goods are going down, you are not exporting much. That means the demand for your Naira is going down also. When the demand for your Naira goes down, the value also is dropping. So right now the Naira is at 1,600 to $1, but I assure you that if these things are not looked into, the Naira might, it might fall up to 10,000 to $1. It's going to happen. It's not a bad wish or whatever. It's going to happen because these things are not being looked into. Okay, look at these 4 points. Now, the investor confidence. The current government is not doing anything to ensure that the confidence in the economy is restored. They're not doing anything about it. In fact, as it stands, they don't care. Now, you're talking about economic uncertainty. This is a part of the things that are pushing the Naira down. What is the current government doing to assure investors and marketers who are coming in that this is our roadmap to getting a stronger economy? There's no roadmap, there's no plan on the ground. And so there continues to be economic uncertainty. That means the Naira will continue to go down. Now, you talk about excess currency in the market. We were saying that the currency might be too much in circulation, but we just learned a few days ago that the current central bank governor is printing more Naira notes. And what it means is that they are creating too much excess of Naira in circulation. And when you do this, you have driven down the demand for the Naira. Anything that will drive down the demand for the Naira, this is basic economics, market forces. Anything that will drive down the demand for the Naira, don't do it. But the CBN, as we speak, is currently doing it. They are printing more and more Naira notes into circulation. That means the value of Naira will continue to go down and all that. Now, we're talking about commodity prices. The current government is not doing anything to support businesses. They are not supporting manufacturers with interest-free loans. They are not supporting them with tax waivers, import waivers, and all that. They are not supporting them at all. They are just leaving them out there to suffer. We are talking about the manufacturers. If the manufacturers are suffering, if the manufacturers are looking for capital and they cannot get it, if the manufacturers are not getting all these waivers they are supposed to get, all this support, if the manufacturers cannot even get electricity enough, things will continue to go up. Prices will continue to go up. And as prices are going up, you are scaring away the people who would have come to buy your items from other countries. You are scaring them away, and what it means is that the Naira will continue to go down in value. This is basic economics. And that is just to show you a few points why the Naira will continue to fall. It is 1,006, the last I heard. Who knows where it will be at by Monday or Tuesday? It might hit 2,000. So, in summary, the current people in charge of the economy, that is the current government on seat, has failed. In summary, they have failed within the first year of governance. They have failed and failed spectacularly. So, let the people who are supporting them continue to show that favoritism, because maybe it's from your place or that. Continue to do that. But you will suffer the consequences. And you know what is funny is that they who are ruining the country, that is the position, this doesn't affect them as much because they are looting the money. They are looting billions of dollars at once. So it doesn't affect them. But you, who is the uneducated supporter on the street, will be the person feeling it. When you look for your Gary to drink and you cannot buy Gary cheap anymore, that is when you will realize that the economy has gone down the drain. So These are just a few points, and I just wanted to elucidate for those of us who understand a bit of economics and for those of us who have interest in it. So we'll be stopping there for now. Thank you very much for listening.